Happy New Year. We have some exciting things for this new year. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Murder, Mysteries, and More. My name's Kaylee.
My name is Desi.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to turn on post notifications.
Before we get into this case, we always encourage those who have useful information to any unsolved case, please report it to your local police and sheriff department. April 16th, 2023 would be the last day anyone would see Mercedes Vega. Today we will be diving into the mystery surrounding her disappearance.
Mercedes Vega was born on March 10, 2001 in Anchorage, Alaska, to Erika and Tom Pillsbury. She was described as being a beautiful young child who loved horses and babies, which I love horses too, and babies. She played the violin and had a beautiful singing voice. She sang the national anthem at many sports games and special events. She was described as being a straight-A student throughout school. Mercedes, she was an incredible swimmer and she loved the ocean. And here's something that she said. She used to say, "My soul belongs in Hawaii." I think that is just like such a beautiful thing to say. She seems like she would be a great person to be friends with.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In her celebration of life book, friends say that she was always a safe person for them. They would thank her for showing her how to be a strong woman and how they would want to be like her when they grew up. Like, people just looked up to Mercedes. Mercedes' best friend was Mackenzie Lockhart, who said Vega was thriving in Tempe and was working on becoming a personal trainer. She was a stripper at Lee Girls, a local strip club in Tempe, at the time of her death.
So what happened on April 16, 2023? Video footage from her apartment shows Mercedes walking to her car at her apartment complex. She was heading out to meet friends at this time at Dave & Buster's. In the video, you can see Mercedes has her head down and she's not paying attention to her surroundings, which is normal because if you're in the garage of your apartment complex, you're not gonna think anyone's gonna get you.
Yes,
you think you're safe.
A safe place.
Yeah, exactly. But then Mercedes was hit over the head, leaving tissue and blood in the parking garage and put in either her vehicle or someone else's vehicle. They're not too for sure exactly, which sucks. But, yeah. Around 1:30 a.m. the next morning, Maricopa County Sheriff deputies were called to assist Arizona Department of Public Safety with a car on fire near Interstate 10. Interstate 10 is a few miles west of Tonopah. After firefighters extinguished the blaze, Mercedes' body was found in the backseat, but it wasn't her car. Very sus. Very strange. Along with her in the backseat, gloves, bleach, and lighter fluid were found in the car. Her Dodge Charger was later found abandoned outside a restaurant near 1st Street and Farmer Avenue in Tempe. According to the ME report, smoke inhalation was the cause of death, but she was found with bleach in her throat, a gunshot wound to the arm, and blunt force trauma to her head. She was also still alive when she was in that burning car.
Which is horrendous if you think about it. Like, burning alive is one of the most painful ways that you could die.
Yeah, it is. So, that was so cruel for whoever did that. That's cruel.
Yeah,
Not okay.
That's really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, for this case, unfortunately, there's only really one main theory, and it is that it was a sex crime. Some statistics of some, sexual violence statistics on the National Sexual Violence and Resource Center.org. 1 in 5 women in the United States experienced completed or attempted rape during their lifetime. So that 1 in 5 people could be your mom, your sister, your aunt, somebody you know. 1 in 5 is a lot of people. It doesn't just happen to women, it also happens to men as well. Nearly 24.8% of men in the U.S. experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime, which is sad as well. Nationwide, 81% of women and 43% of men reported some sort of sexual harassment or assault. That is a lot of people. Like, for 81 percent, that's like a really high number. And then even 43% for men as well. It's just really heartbreaking. What's even sadder is that 1 in 3 women, the first time that they experience rape or attempted rape, they were only between the ages of 11 and 17. Just let that sink in for a minute. Like, they are just like babies basically, and people are doing these things to them at that age, and that's gonna permanently traumatize them.
Hell yeah.
So awesome. As you can see clearly with all these statistics, that it is very, very common for people to be sexually assaulted or raped, or somebody attempting to do this to them, which is really sad. Like, we need to lower that statistic. That should not be happening.
Definitely not.
And there definitely needs to be like more awareness, and if you see something like this happening, definitely report it. It is sad too, because some people are afraid to report it, and they shouldn't have to feel that way.
Most sex crimes actually go unreported. So
yeah, and sometimes even they know the person, which does not help the situation. It makes it really awkward for them to confess it, and it's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it ruins their lives, and sometimes it sends them into a downward spiral. Like, it's awful.
Yeah, and there definitely needs to be more help for victims so they don't feel helpless.
Yeah, there needs to be more resources for sure. This needs to be a problem that needs to be stopped. For sure.
Mercedes, she was found with bleach in her throat. This basically indicates the killer could have forced her to drink it to destroy biological evidence, especially if the killer throat raped her. This would also be motivation to burn her alive as well. Mercedes was a stripper. This killer could have possibly been an over-lustful customer who was obsessed with her secretly. And yes, even though she's a stripper, she still is a person and does not deserve this to have happened to her.
Huh.
She only lived 5 minutes away from the club and had a custom vanity plate on her car. A study of exotic dancers found that 100% had been physically assaulted in clubs, whether by customers or faculty members, and many often have stalkers. I find it insane that faculty members at these places, clubs especially, are able to get away with this.
They're sleazeballs.
It's wrong. 51.2% of exotic dancers were found to be threatened with a weapon.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if you have a gun in your face and this is happening, you can't just always walk away. Like, your life is in danger, and you feel even more helpless. So it's
definitely
not fair. This would also explain why Mercedes was shot in the arm. Perhaps she was resisting the SA, and the killer decided to incapacitate her as much as he could. And unfortunately, with this case being so recent, and because she was like burned in the car and they put bleach down her throat, there's just very little evidence and no leads to, you know, support if this happened. However, I do kind of lean more towards that this probably could have been why. It does make a lot of sense to me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, sadly, like, her family, they're really trying to find answers and they really can't. And it really sucks.
Yeah, especially because she was so young.
Yeah, she's really young. I mean, she's 22 years old. She had over half of her life left. You know, she's supposed to live to be, you know, 75, 80 years old. She's supposed to go get married to someone, possibly have children, do things she wants in life, and it was just taken away from her.
Yeah, she even said to her mom, she was like, I want my kids to bury me someday. And she doesn't even get that.
Sadly, her parents are the ones burying her.
Yeah. It's just so sad.
It is.
I don't get it. Yeah, so into our beautiful Reddit comments that we love to read so much. The very first one is a post that was posted by Sufficient Cod 9405. Mercedes Vega was abducted in Aubrey parking garage in Tempe. First comment is from Routine Cantaloupe 63. Mercedes was a mutual friend of mine from high school. She was a sweet soul and a bright light. The last time I saw her was in December at our friend's birthday dinner. Her and I split a plate of enchiladas with some chips and guac. LOL. I will never forget how beautiful and radiant and happy she was the last time I saw her. I cannot fathom how anyone could do this to her. Her and I are both exotic dancers here in Arizona, but we never worked at the same club. I know how the business can be, though. Something in my gut tells me that a weird man from the club was watching/preying on her. I don't understand how this hasn't been solved. We need justice. If you have any other information, please come forward. Her family and friends are hurting.
I would have loved to have some enchiladas and guacamole with her. She seemed like a great person to be around.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's like, it sucks that she was gone too soon.
It is, and she's around her age, a little bit younger, but...
Which is crazy.
Which is insane, because that could have been one of us. That could have been one of our friends, you know.
You never know what's gonna happen.
1_radio_6801. This is my child. This happened on the night of April 16, 2023. If you have any information, contact Detective Ray at Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, 602-876-3855. Yes, if you know any information about any of these unsolved cases, please report the information.
Automatics Box 8260. Wow, this is so sick and disturbing. It almost doesn't even sound real. Lighting her on fire while she's alive, but shooting her first? And where is this information coming from? Were there any witnesses or cameras? I'm local and used to be in the industry here. I know how savage it turns people, but this is next level destruction of human life, makes me consider cartel. True. I mean, but like, she didn't seem like she was involved in any.
No, she
like
didn't
that.
seem like she was really into any drugs. I know, like, Arizona is one of those closer states to Mexico, but she didn't seem like she was really involved in drugs or anything.
No, but you never know when people, like, because people hide stuff so easily.
Maybe they mistaked her for the wrong person.
Which, that's a fuck up on their part, and that's evil.
Yeah,
but
that's
okay.
I hope that's not the case.
Not either.
Oh my god, this thing. Hennessy and chicken.
Yeah.
My grandma lives near Santan and was already planning on moving near ... This breaks my heart. Someone in my life knew her. I feel pain for her, even more for her family. Hashtag justice 4333. Aw.
Aw. Sticky towels?
Sticky towel.
Sticky towels! It's extremely dangerous around here at night. Anywhere near ASU is bad. My sister lived in a condo across JC Park and she had to move out because her car would get broken into all the time, but they wouldn't take anything. She had a Ring doorbell and a couple times men with ski masks would show up, knock, and not say anything in the middle of the night. She still thinks they were trying to abduct her. There's cases of people going missing in that area and around ASU, period. The story is sad, and to set someone on fire sounds a little personal. I hope they find the killer. Damn.
I hope they do find the killer. We have covered a couple Arizona murders before.
Yeah, Arizona's not a great place to live, to be honest, and being that, like, Arizona has that one highway that's, like, dangerous.
Yeah, and it's one of the higher, they have one of the higher murder statistics for their state.
They are close to Mexico, so I get it, but, like, it's so, I don't know, it's just awful.
It is awful. And then a prolonged existence. Holy fuck, I lived here when this happened, and this is the only communication I ever received about. Dear residents, I am writing to inform you that the Tempe police were at our property on April 18, 2023, conducting an investigation. We understand that this might cause some concern, and we want to assure you that we are cooperating with the authorities to the fullest extent possible. However, due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, we are not able to share any details or information with you at this time. We understand that this may be frustrating, but it is important that we respect the privacy and confidentiality of the investigation and those involved. We will continue to provide updates as soon as we are able to do so. In the meantime, we ask for your understanding and cooperation during this difficult time. If you have any concerns or questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Tempe Police. We are here to support you and will do everything in our power to ensure that you feel safe and secure in your homes. Thank you for understanding.
I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest.
I don't know either.
Like, I don't know. I feel like the police aren't, like, I get it, they don't have very many leads. I feel like the police aren't trying that hard.
Yeah, I feel like they should be trying harder.
They should. Michael St. Patrick, what the fuck, man? And men wonder why women don't feel safe around men. Facts.
That is fact.
Say it louder for the people in the back, please.
Mitch B says, my heart breaks for her mother. My sincere condolence for her. Everyone be safe. Yeah, no mother should have to go through bearing her own child.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my mother to go through that. She'd get wrecked. Like, bro, it would be so bad.
Like, you're supposed to outlive your parents. But sometimes that, unfortunately, doesn't
happen.
Yeah.
So sad. Yeah, so on to the next Reddit comments section. This is posted by Kit Snicket 182. The horrific murder of Mercedes Vega 6 months later in Arizona, police have still not made an arrest. Your angel or your devil says, I wonder more about the car Mercedes' body was found in. Since it reportedly wasn't her own, it had to be someone's, maybe stolen even, since it's hard to think somebody would risk their own car in this way. It could be helpful for authorities to release more on what the model of the car was, even if they weren't able to recover a VIN or license plate from it.
That would be very crucial information.
I mean, yeah, it would be crucial. I'm surprised they haven't, like, I don't know, been more involved in the car. Yeah, because you would think that would lead, even if it leads to, like, a dead end, it would lead you somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it could lead you somewhere great, or it could just be a dead end, but still, like, it's so weird she's burned in somebody else's car.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Like, weird.
Kurt Total says, strip clubs have tons of security cameras. Hopefully they pulled them and looked through them thoroughly. Yes, they definitely should have pulled and looked at the cameras at the strip club that she was working at, because it could have been possibly somebody she knew there, whether it was a worker or customer. That would also be beneficial.
Yeah, you know, I hope that they did do that, because if not, they're stupid. Deleted. Weird the attack in the parking garage was missed. I wonder if it was a blind spot or footage was tampered with. If it was tampered with, then it had to be somebody who was working with the apartment complex that knew somebody. So, could be that too. Or their cameras, they just didn't have great placement of cameras.
Yes, I will say some parking garages don't have the best placement, and some don't even have cameras, which I think they should, because I will say when I was in college, there was a couple break-ins and assaults on campus in the garages, and there was one where they didn't have cameras there, which is really messed up, because college campuses are notorious to be places for females especially to be assaulted, and you want to prevent that, and you know, having a camera there is beneficial, but some people still in this age are like, oh well, whatever.
Yeah, right. Like, bruh, don't do that.
Like, this is 2024 now, so You know, it's not like cameras don't exist.
Bruh, our technology has come so fucking far. Every fucking place should have cameras.
Yeah.
Even if it's a poor, rundown ass fucking apartment complex, you should have some sort of fucking cameras, because they sell cameras for fucking cheap out here.
They do.
Oh, I hear no excuses. You're just being stupid.
And lazy.
Facts. Gordonopolis _ the second. The saddest part of this is her uncle Vincent was also murdered in 1994 by an unknown assailant. He was rumored to be involved with organized crime at the time, but it's unknown if his murder was connected to his work. Very sad.
That was very sad.
Rick James.
Body _ glass _ view. How awful. Ugh, how awful for her. Fucking so glad I no longer live in Tempe. My street was way too hot. A well-known URM happened right on the corner when I was there, among many others. The air is thick with despair and low-down problems. Just feels heavy, and on the funnest, happiest day, I still couldn't shake that unease. So much fun shit to do. Lots of cool shops and restaurants right by me. Still could sense a black-red feeling in the city. It's still crackhead city I live now, but in a way that doesn't make me want to give up every day. That's really depressing.
That is very depressing. Holy shit. Hey, yeah. Crack city bitch. Crack city bitch. Least stranger 9871. I'm assuming the car was stolen. In my opinion, it was a guy from the club where she danced at, stole the car, tracked her movements, was able to get her under control somehow, and then I think he sexually assaulted her and poured bleach to kill his DNA. Check the cameras for cars driving by her place but not stopping and or circling. There'll be a lot of activity weeks back on outdoor cameras if there are any. Oh, this next one though. I can't say anything to EKWTATA. There may have been 2 assailants because he drove her out to the middle of nowhere and burned his ride. I didn't even think about that.
This next one is a pretty long comment, but there's some interesting stuff. Original _stuff _8044. On the news, they showed a video of Mercedes exiting the elevator and then walking out the frame. The news does not elaborate on the scene in the garage, but in the screen above her mother states her daughter's bloody shoe prints were left on the scene for 3 days after abduction. This much blood loss would be either from a head wound or a gunshot, which she was shot by a gun. The story uses the word torture because it seems like the perpetrator tried to inflict pain and make her suffer. I think this may be slightly inaccurate, however, not saying whoever did this was not a monster. The blow to the head would have been necessarily to incapacitate her in order to get her into whichever the 2 vehicles was used, likely hers unless they pulled the gun first. This seems more of a plausible scenario where they pointed a gun but she fought back. She could have maybe shot in the arm in the garage and at that point feared for her life so much that she complied. And yeah, I mean, if you have a gun to your head or somebody's pointing a gun to you, most people are going to comply because they're afraid that they are going to get killed.
Facts.
Who knows what type of fight or flight reaction could have happened. It was probably planned in advance that they were going to burn her car to get rid of the evidence. From there, it is likely one car followed another to a remote location and they assaulted her. The theory about the bleach to destroy evidence does make sense, unless the bleach serves some other purposes, such as a way to humiliate her because the perp felt she was somehow not clean. Maybe they had something against strippers, so that could make sense.
Yeah.
Either way, it was someone who watched her and desired her and hated her. The theory of it being one of the patrons at the clubs makes sense. Most likely it was. How much of this person or his acquaintance expressed any sort of interest in Vega is probably not relevant. It could have been somebody who sat in the back, never tipped, or someone who got a lap dance. Doubtful it was someone who brought her a gift or was an obvious admirer, unless they were a very obsessive admirer.
That's true. I mean,
like with Christina Grimmie, she had a very overly obsessed fan, so maybe Mercedes had an overly obsessed fan too.
I mean, it's so common for strippers to have overly obsessed people with them, especially creepy guys.
And then for her car to have been not found and not have been altered, destroyed, evidence is interesting. Was there no evidence in her car? Did the killer use gloves and felt no need to burn or bleach her car? Did any notice a person who came home and worked some bleach and lighter fluid and smoke?
Well, there was gloves found in the back seat, so...
I mean, those are some really good points, though. This case definitely leaves more questions than answers, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's so sad to say this, but I don't think they're gonna find any more evidence as of right now. Unless, you know, something or someone comes forward like they should, but, you know, we know how people are.
Yeah, and it doesn't help either that. Mercedes' family has been fighting endlessly with the police on how they're dragging their feet on this case. There are no leads, no suspects, and not enough evidence to solve this case, which is very tragic. The family has a $2,000 reward for anyone who has any information regarding to Mercedes' murder. If you know anything, please report it.
Yes.
Mercedes was a bright, young, and beautiful woman who was taken away from this world too soon by someone so cruel. We can only hope that one day this case and many others become solved.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Murders, Mysteries, and More. Remember to always pay attention to your surroundings because you never know when someone's going to come swoop you up and take you away.